I think honestly, while I did manage to like kind of balance and do well in both my studies and like my squash, but I could have gotten a lot more if I did only one.
Wai Yhann,
the national squash player.
First Singaporean squash player to reach top 90 in the PSA World Rankings.
How did it all start?
My dad used to play, so we just used to like follow him around. At 9, when I played like my first tournament, I don't know, somehow managed to win the event, and I was like, oh, maybe I'm quite good at this.
So like if you got just like 30 seconds on a minute, what is squash basically?
Similar to like tennis and badminton, you know, you have like an opponent, but the thing that's a bit different about squash is that you're in the same court as your opponent. So I think that's what makes it more interesting. You're like kind of like moving around with them. You have to get a bit more like awareness of where your opponent is at the same time. So it makes it very interesting and a lot harder. We played to best of 5, so the first person to win 3 games basically.
What was the longest that you went on for?
Just close to under an hour.
So what inspired you to go full time, like with squash?
I just kind of enjoy the lifestyle. I enjoy training and getting better at what I'm doing and stuff. And
I saw they're gonna have squash in the 2028 LA Olympics, yeah?
This is gonna be the first Olympics that squash is gonna be in, and it's not like a swimming or track and field where it's in every year. So it might be the first and the only chance that squash is gonna be in. And I think
So why not we begin by you introducing yourself? Like, what's your name? What do you do?
yeah, hi, I'm Wai Yhann. I'm 25 this year, and I'm a national squash player.
How did you get started in squash? Why squash? You know, what made you drawn towards that sport? How did it all start?
I guess like my dad used to play, so we just used to like follow him around, and then that's how I kind of got like introduced into the sport. But because obviously squash is not very popular sport, so in primary school there wasn't any squash at all, and I was like playing badminton throughout primary school and stuff. But then on the side, I would go for training like once a week. Every Sunday, I would just take up squash lessons. And obviously, at that time for me, it was like, because I don't know if you know, at Kallang, squash courts opposite, there's like a McDonald's there, and like every time after squash session, we'll go straight to drive through and like buy Mackies. So for me, that was like what I used to do. But then I think at 9, when I played like my first tournament, mixed under 9 event, and then I don't know, somehow managed to win the event, and I was like, oh, maybe I'm quite good at this. But obviously, as I said, like, because there isn't in primary school, there isn't any squash, so I just kept up with badminton, but squash on the side. And then when I reached secondary school, I obviously decided to like change to squash. And I mean, because as a kid, I guess like you kind of like enjoy winning, and like obviously badminton, the talent pool is a lot bigger, so it was a lot harder to like succeed in it. At that time, I was like, okay, maybe I'll give it a shot at squash. And then from there, I just like, you know, started to enjoy the game a lot more. So, yeah.
Okay, cool. That's nice. It's a nice backstory. A couple of questions that appear in my head. Okay, the first thing is just the McDonald's at Kallang. Is it the one that's opposite the KFC?
Yeah.
Yeah. I live really near there growing up. So I was always there as well growing up. Yeah, that's the first one. Second thing is, why do you think squash is not that popular? I mean, that's the first thing you said.
I think, well, it used to be very popular. Well, what my dad always say, and everyone always say, like in the 60s and all, it was like really, really popular. And then they used to have like courts all over. If you look at it, like every junior college, every JC has courts. They used to have like many, many public courts. I don't really know what happened, and then it just like started going downhill a little bit. They started like, you know, if you look at some condos now, squash courts, they changed to like, they put table tennis table inside, or they change it to like a function room or something like that. So I think generally like a lot like younger people nowadays, they don't really get exposed to the sport, and probably that's why it's, you know, not as popular.
Cool. I mean, growing up, I've definitely heard of squash. Yes, like you said, maybe not the most popular sport, but still, I thought it was pretty fascinating. I always thought it was like a very peculiar sport. I had friends like in primary school who did squash, and their siblings as well. So I did know about squash. I don't know much about squash. I haven't tried it before, even though I'm a really sporty person. So like if you got just like like 30 seconds or a minute, what is squash basically? Like, what was the aim of it? Like, how long is the usual game?
Well, I guess similar to like tennis and badminton, you have like an opponent. But the thing that's a bit different about squash is that you're in the same court as your opponent. So I think that's what makes it more interesting. Yeah, like kind of like moving around with them. You have to get a bit more like awareness of where your opponent is. At the same time, so it makes it very interesting and a lot harder. We play to best of 5, so first to win 3 games of 11 points. So basically, just have to score points. So there are certain rules like within the court, you just have to hit it in, you can't hit it down, etc., stuff like that. And then the first person to win 3 games, basically. Yeah.
What was the longest that you went on for?
So I think it really depends. Like that's the thing about squash. I think it can be like depends on the matchup of the 2 players. So like if I'm playing someone who's like really like close to my standard and we get like really long game, I think maybe the longest I've had is maybe just close to under an hour, like 50 over minutes. But if let's say the standard of play is like really far apart, it can be as short as 15 minutes. So there's no like set timing in that sense. But obviously, like if you look at higher level, like now like the top 10 in the world and all, their matches they can go up to almost like an hour and a half, which is like pretty long because for squash, you don't really get very long breaks in between. So between each point is when you get the ball to the service box and you serve. So it's like usually they say about 5 to 7 seconds maybe, and then in between each set you get 2-minute break. So it's actually not a lot of rest time. So it can be quite intense if you think about it.
Nice. A lot of endurance, or it must be really, really fit. Yeah. So what inspired you to go full time, like with squash? What really motivated you in order to do it?
I think I mean I've actually trained full time before after my O levels. So when I turned 17, I took at first it was supposed to be a gap year. Kind of just got playing training full time, and then kind of realized that I quite enjoyed it, and then again did it one more year. So in the end I took 2 years off after O levels to train full time. Yeah, and I think I don't know, I just kind of enjoy the lifestyle. I enjoy really like just training and getting better at what I'm doing and stuff. And I guess like opportunity did arise for me after that 2 years. I got invitation from sports school asked me if I wanted to go into sports school to train. And I mean at the same time, because they offered me IB, but extended IB, because I knew that I've had seniors or friends and all that who have gone through like A levels and IB and stuff, and like I think balancing sport and that within the 2 years is very challenging, especially if you want to continue performing at like a very high level. So thankfully for me, I was lucky enough to be given the opportunity to extend my IB. So it allowed me to balance my studies and my sport a lot better. And I think since during that journey, during my IB journey and during this uni journey, I think I already knew that eventually I would still want to push my squash, because over the years it's just been it's been getting better. It's been I feel I haven't reached my ceiling yet. So that's why I think I would really want to like take this push and then see how far I can go.
100%. Fair enough. And I love that mentality and that self-awareness that that there's so much more to unlock that potential and that feeling that you can reach, right? It's never ending. You can always improve 1% each day in becoming a better person and a better athlete, right? And I mean, your family must be really, really supportive, right, of your decision to go full time. You have a sister as well, right? Does she play squash as well?
Yeah, I have 2 sisters actually, but only my younger sister plays squash. She's in Bristol studying now as well, doing her A levels.
She's with you in the UK as well?
Yeah, she is flying tonight, so she comes back tomorrow. Okay. But yeah.
That's nice. So wait, side note. So what are you studying in?
I studied psychology.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but I'm done with it now.
How was it? Was it good? Was it fun?
Yeah, it was very interesting. I think honestly, while I did manage to like kind of balance and do well in both my studies and like my squash, but I feel like I could have gotten a lot more if I did only one or the other. I mean, because for me, I mean, some people, I guess, do like, they still go and study because, parents always say you need like you need an education, you need a backup or something. But I think for me, like, I mean, I'm really interested in psychology, so I do sometimes wish I could have engaged in a lot more classes and stuff. But I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, 100%. I get what you mean. Similar to you, I'm also very, very interested in psychology. I love psychology, so I can understand that passion there. But I can understand also how difficult it can be because, like you said, I don't want to generalize or stereotype, but like usually, generally, Singaporeans or Asian countries, like you said, you yourself said, that you usually have a fallback, whereas like some athletes, like they really go all in. Like you said, like if you really go on in, you can focus on that one thing and like you're laser focused on that one thing and you can get so much out of it. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, right? It's up to you to pursue what you want to pursue. And I'm so intrigued because I saw a lot of articles that showed that not only did you go full time when you finish your O levels, and at first I thought it was 1 year, but then you said 2 years after that. And then now you're going to go in full time again. I think that is just amazing. It's inspiring and motivational for myself, and I'm sure all the audience as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Olympics just ended. So what's your thoughts about that? I saw they're going to have squash in the 2028 LA Olympics, yeah? So what's your plan, like just in general?
Yeah, definitely gonna try to aim for that. Because I mean, this is gonna be the first Olympics that squash is gonna be in, and it's not like a swimming or track and field where it's in every year. So it might be the first and the only chance that squash is gonna be in. And I think again, like I think somehow things just kind of like fall in place. I'm kind of at the right age, or in the next few years, I kind of might reach my prime age. So I think that works quite well. So I think it just, I'm like really excited that it's going to be in, and I'm just gonna, like as I said, just keep training and see how the next few years go, and hopefully be able to qualify for it.
100%. And I'll be there, and I'm sure many of us Singaporeans will be rooting for you. I mean, who knows, right? I don't like you said, we don't know if it's just a one-time thing or it's gonna be reoccurring. But definitely very exciting, and especially at the age that you're in, it's a prime opportunity, right? So yeah, so I just want to talk a bit about the squash in general in Singapore. I mean, I told you that I knew a bit about squash. I mean, I have some visualization of what squash is, in a kind of like a small little court. I don't know, like I went to like swimming pools before, and I saw squash courts at the side, like a couple of squash, and then people just hitting side by side in this area. But I don't know. I saw recent news, and I saw that netball and squash is getting taken out of the Kallang, right? Why? I mean, Kalang's pretty big. And
yeah, I know.
I was shocked, and I saw squash has been there for what, over 50 years. I'm really sad for that. I mean, squash. I mean, I wouldn't say the courts are that big. Anyway, so I mean, what do you think? How do you think we can increase visibility and accessibility of squash in Singapore? Like, what do we have to do? Like, what does Singapore have to do? Do we have to introduce it in more CCAs in primary school? Do we need to? I've seen some of what's called the SSRA try to get more courts in the condos and private clubs and all this kind of stuff. What do you think can be done more?
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously we need like a lot more public facilities for squash courts. I think currently we have, is it five or six? But if they're gonna close down Kallang, and that's the one with the most courts that is, then obviously it's just, I mean, if there's gonna be fewer courts, then less people are gonna play it, or less people are gonna be exposed to it, and then we can't really grow the sport. I think one thing what I found quite interesting here I've seen was that they do have some like in my sister's school, or even in other schools where they have like extracurricular activities, and it's not like squash doesn't have to be your CCA, but like you get like every term you get to pick a different activity that you want to sign up for. Let's say baking, squash, netball, anything, and then that's where like kids sign up for it, and then they are brought to like the facilities to like get introduced to the sport. And I think that's how you can kind of like raise a bit more exposure. Because let's say if for me, if my dad didn't play squash, and I might not have been exposed to it. So for many kids, maybe if their parents didn't play, they wouldn't have been exposed. But if they see like in schools, if they're having the activity, they might be a bit interested, like, oh, what's this? And then, just as it's more like a with friends kind of thing, everyone will do it together. And that's when they kind of sign up. And then, maybe if each like public facility is within like a near distance to like a school, they can always just like head down there, have 1 or 2 hours, and from there, they might grow more interested in it. And yeah, I think that's how you can kind of like improve its visibility.
Yeah, no, I think that is a brilliant suggestion. Like the example you gave of your sister's school, where every month or so you try out a different sport, try out at different facilities.
Yeah.
I don't think I see that much growing up in Singapore, because like usually you choose one
and you stick to it.
You choose one CC and then you stick with it all the way.
Yeah, that's what I find like very interesting here. I think in UK, like with younger kids, they're always like exposed to so many different kind of sports. They're like, oh, I play cricket, I play netball, I play football. They play so many different things. Whereas like in Singapore, it's like sometimes I don't know whether it's your choice or like your parents' choice to like kind of just put you into one and become good at it. But whereas like I think being like exposed to many different things. No, I mean not just sports, arts or whatever. It could be like really helpful as well.
100%. I mean, I live in Australia for quite a bit, and I saw how they do sports there, and it's similar to what you mentioned with your sister. It's like they will try every single sport growing up, and then they'll find out which one they are really, really have aptitude or they're really good at. And I mean, that's why Australia does so well in sports, right? They're brilliant, and I think it's that experimental nature that I think that us Singaporeans and Singapore should adopt more. And then we'll probably be much better in our sports. So yeah, no, that was a really good suggestion. Thanks for bringing it up.
Just a quick one. I remember back when I was younger, I was going through an incredibly tough period in my life where I had no one to talk to about my problems. There was no place I could share my honest thoughts and feelings because I was just so afraid of being judged by people. And I realized that was so bad for my mental well-being. It's like bottling up everything and just waiting for a day where it all explodes. So no, we're not going to let that happen for you. Because my team and I have developed a free social app called huddle.so, where you can share all your problems anonymously. Whatever is currently on your mind that's bothering you, whatever is making you upset or giving you sleepless nights. This is a non-toxic app where you can just be yourself, heal, and make many wholesome friends that will be there for you to support you during difficult times. The app is currently available on iOS at the moment, so good news for iPhone users. But we are working really hard to get an Android version out as soon as we can, so we don't miss out on the rest of you. So trust me, download the app, give it a shot, and I guarantee you that your future you will thank you for taking care of yourself. I'll put the link in the description below as well, and I'll see you in Huddleverse.
Out of everything, out of squash, do you have any like interests or hobbies you do in your free time? Or what do you like doing?
Well, I like going to the pool and just chilling in the sun. Not much sun left here. Summer's almost ending, so kind of a bit sad. But no, I think just kind of like, I guess the whole week of training sometimes gets very busy and gets very hectic. It's quite nice to just kind of wind down, just going for a short walk, reading a book, or just relaxing, I guess, with family, like with my sister or whatever.
Fantastic. So you're like a beach person, yeah?
Yes. I don't know actually. I feel like I like the swimming pool more than I like the beach, just because like it's quite scary out at sea. I don't know.
Oh yeah, it is.
Don't really know what's gonna
nature hiking. Is there a lot in where you're at?
Yeah, lots of walks in like parks and nature reserves. I mean,
is it very different from Singapore? Like the nature?
I guess like in Singapore it's like straight, or not as hilly, or not as the terrain there is like quite chill. Here is a bit scarier, and like because I have friends that bring me around, and I'm like, oh my god, what's going to happen? And they're like, it's just so they find it so normal. But no, it's really, really nice, and I think it helps that it isn't so hot, so you can kind of for like, you can walk for like almost 3 hours, and you're like, oh, I still feel like okay, well, not too
Yeah,
bad.
that's nice. I mean, Singapore, I don't even want to step out. So it's just blistering hot.
It's
Yeah.
fine.
So Bristol, which part of it is it? Is it near London? Is it in London?
It's 2 hours. It's southwest. Yeah,
Okay,
so
okay.
it's very near Cardiff, if you know
Yeah.
Wales, towards the, yeah.
Yeah, I always heard the UK has bad weather, right? Like, is it like always raining? I mean,
Well,
the one time I've been there, it was raining when I was in Manchester and Liverpool. It's
do you go during winter time? Do you come during winter time?
I think no, not winter, but not summer. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, I guess you just get more bad weather than you get good weather. So people generalize it as bad, but actually you can get some really, really nice days. And I think, oh, sorry, this is so
Yeah,
random, but I
go
think
for it.
like summer is like really cool. Like if you haven't experienced summer in places that have like 4 seasons, or I don't know about other places, but in like
Mhm.
UK where like the sun sets at like 9
Mhm.
p.m., 10 p.m., I think it's like so cool. Like you won't really ever get that. Like the first time, like in Singapore, I mean, it always sets at 7 all
Yeah.
year round. First time I came here and it was like during summer, I was like, oh, I'm feeling a bit hungry now. And I look at the time, I was like, wait, it's like 8:30 p.m. Why the hell is it still so bright? And it's like yeah, just a new experience, which is quite nice actually.
Yeah, I think I remember that too as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It gets dark late, yeah? During
It
summer,
gets
is
dark
it?
late and it gets light very early, like by 4 a.m. Sun has risen. So it's like very long days in the summer. And then
Yeah.
obviously very short days in the winter, like sunsets 4 o'clock. So that can be quite sad as well. But
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's interesting. I remember I had when I was in uni a couple years back, I had Norwegian friends. I remember them saying like there's there are days where the sun is just up like
Yeah,
all the time.
I
And
think they say like up, even higher up. Like you get during summer, like there's no sunlight. I mean, no
yes,
sunset at all. So
yeah.
they have to have like blackout curtains to completely block out like all the
Yes,
light. It's
yes.
not it's
And
24
winter
hours.
too, was it that they don't have no sun or something for
Yeah,
like long periods? That's
yeah.
crazy. Yeah, okay, that's cool, that's cool. And I just have one more question. So what do you usually I don't know, this is off record or something, but what do you usually eat like every day in the UK? Do they have good Asian food or I
They have some Asian food. I feel like Chinese, like Malaysian restaurants and stuff. Um, but I don't know. I think because food is like very expensive here. Actually, it's
yes, yeah.
like like one meal going out, you pay at least £10 minimum, 10
Mm,
8 to 10 pounds, and that's like $15-16. So it's
mm,
quite expensive to eat out. So I think we kind of just get used to cooking. But
mhm,
I mean, obviously, because we're boring athletes, so you just cook, I don't know, fried rice,
mm,
noodles, pasta,
mm.
very basic stuff. But I mean, once in a while, we can treat ourselves. Go out.
I get what you mean, yeah. In Australia the same thing as well. Expensive.
It's even more expensive
Yeah.
in Australia. I think I went to Sydney recently,
Yeah.
I think, like a year ago or like somewhere early
Yeah.
this year. It was so crazy.
Yeah, I was living on the Gold Coast for 3 years. I was doing oh yeah, I was living on the Gold Coast for like 3 to 4 years. Uni there. I was on a pathway to be a psychologist because that was my ambition, right? Be a clinical psychologist because I love mental health. And yeah, anyways, I was living there and food's so expensive, but the food's not good. That's the thing. So
Is it not? Well, I guess it's a lot
Asian
of
food because I grew up with Singapore standards,
yeah,
right? And
yeah.
best bang for buck. And Australia like so expensive, and I rather cook. And I love cooking, so I learned to cook there. I started eating chili there to spice it up. I really never touched chili before, but I had to.
Really?
Yeah, and yeah, and but thank God the groceries there
Yeah, they're
cheap
pretty
are
good.
cheap. So
Yeah,
it's so easy
yeah.
to whip up a
Yeah.
meal. But
And we
yeah,
just like
mm,
bring back like food paste from Singapore. Okay,
exactly.
don't add this. I don't know if it's legal or not.
No, I know. All this is what. Okay, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Anything
Yeah.
I'll update you. Thanks for coming on. And I just wish you all the best. And I'll keep up to date with your journey as always. And if there's anything, we can always update each other. Thanks so much. You're a really nice person, and I really enjoyed speaking to you.
Yeah, thank you. Nice speaking to you too.
Okay,
Take
see you.
care. And thanks
Take
for
care.
doing this for everyone.
No
I
worries,
think
no worries.
it's
Keep,
really nice.
keep being you, yeah? Keep being you.
Yeah.
Take care.
Hey,
Take care. Stay safe.
hey, bye. In a world where like you can be anything, be kind. Sometimes, I mean, if we can just, even if it's just, smiling at a stranger, saying hi, just trying to be kind, I think can make the world like a lot of like a better place.